to the Marketing Nomad Show, the fun pit stop for all things Instagram, where I also share my entrepreneurial journey, some of my lessons, wins, and challenges along the way, so it can inspire you to get started and grow on Instagram as well. Welcome to the Marketing Nomad Show, Maria. How are we doing today?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic too. Alrighty, guys, for those of you who are listening to the Marketing Nomad Show, today I have Maria with us. Now, Maria is a writer and a social media coach as well. Today, our entire topic is going to revolve around how do you actually start from zero. I know that this episode is going to be super, super interesting. I have personally known Maria for quite some time now, and I know her humble beginnings and where she is today. Super, super proud of her. And I am so excited for Maria to come on the Marketing Nomad Show and to tell you guys to share her journey with all of you as well. So Maria, why don't you take it off from here? Why don't you tell my listeners who you are, what do you do, and a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I've been listening to the podcast for a while, so I'm so excited to actually be part. And yeah, I mean, lovely introduction. Yeah, I'm a writer and I also work in marketing and social media, which is great. But yeah, so one of the things that I would definitely love to talk about, yeah, I mean, my journey, I live in London now, but I'm original from Portugal. And yeah, I mean, at the time I was in the entertainment industry, so I did theater. I was a dancer at the time. I have my own dance studio, everything. Yeah, and all of a sudden I have this thing. Yeah, I want to go to London. So I was supposed to only come here for a week, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and stay. I'm gonna go and stay. And I had a month to prepare. It was crazy. And obviously, I had like, maybe like this naive idea, oh my God, I'm going to go into London. I'm going to conquer that city. I'm going to be so successful. I arrived. And I think in the first like 2 hours, I got mugged. I lost all of my money. I was only, the only thing I had left was my suitcase with my clothes. That was it. I had no phone, my laptop, everything, money, ID, everything was gone. And this was, I mean, I was in such a state of shock and I was so embarrassed about what happened. I didn't tell my family for like a month. So a month went on and I didn't even have the courage to admit that something like this happened. And on top of it, I had also a situation with a friend at the time who I was staying with, which I won't go very deep onto that. But wherever he is, I was basically every day I was thinking, I'm gonna get kicked out. I'm gonna get kicked out. I'm gonna have no place to stay. And what happened is I grabbed the first job that appeared that I was doing just odd jobs, but I grabbed the first job that could give me security, and I managed to find a room to rent, and I was out of my friend's house, and I was so incredibly lucky because the landlady, I was completely honest with her. I said, listen, this is what happened to me. I just started my job. I have no money for a deposit, and I started a job in the middle of the month, so I'm only going to get this amount of money. I'm only going to take away money for my travel to go to work. I can give you the rest of the money, and as soon as I get my proper pay, I pay you all the rest, but I have no way to pay for a deposit. And and she said yes. She said, I understand, because I'm also an immigrant, and when I came here it was also very hard for me and for my kids, so I get that. You don't need to pay for a deposit. And she gave me the room, and that was it. Once again, I was very lucky because I was working in food, so I was cleaning kitchens and stuff. And my manager said, if you want, you can come and you can take food if you need, because he knew about the situation. And so in a way, that's how I started in London. It was literally from zero. I knew nobody. I had no family or friends here that I knew beside the friend that kicked me out. And yeah, so that was like starting from zero. Yeah, definitely.
Oh God, that was oh, I can't even imagine what you would have been through, Maria. Honestly, it gives like I'm having goosebumps over here right now, guys. I don't know if you know you guys are feeling the same way, but that is just incredible. Can you tell us a little bit about, what was your mindset at the time? Because I know the first thing, you're all pepped up, you're like, oh, let's do this, London, and then you get mugged, and then it's just one thing after the other. How did you manage to be sane?
I I mean, in the beginning, I was first, I think it was like the shock, and then it was the shame, and then it felt like, when somebody like pulls the rug and gives you almost like a reality check, because I thought I was going to come here and conquer and do all of this stuff, and all of a sudden I was basically alone. I had no friends, nobody. I felt like I was, in a musical, but without the music number. There was no knight in shiny armor that is going to appear and help you out. But all of a sudden I had people who did not know me at all, and they were willing to help out, so for me, I was like, I didn't have that kind of kindness from somebody who I knew for 10 years, but I have from this lady who I just talked like 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I had to be very good at, cleaning a kitchen at the time. And when you are between, I either do this or I'm in the street. There's no, you know there's no way out. So yeah, I mean, I think I after like a couple of weeks, maybe a month, I think I could clean the kitchen in like 20 minutes. It was insane. But I remember the first time I did it, I was crying the whole time because I've never done anything like that before. And it wasn't because of the job itself, it was because I was so ashamed of myself that I failed so miserably since day one.
Well, that's so heartbreaking, Maria. But looking at where you are now, how did you actually get from, where you were to now? I mean, you have your own successful business, you're a marketer, you are a writer as well, you have your own published book. So how did you get there? That's just so fascinating to hear and to learn about your, resilience basically.
One of the things that I was told for a long time, and I think that for us as entrepreneurs, I think it's so important for us to run away from this myth, which is you have to do everything by yourself in order for your success to be valid. And for me, that was the biggest lie I was ever told, that I didn't need anybody. I don't need any help. And the reality is, I would not be here without other people's help. And when I say help, I don't mean, obviously, you don't have, nobody dropped, a bag of money and say, hey, go and build a business and be great. It was genuine help. Like, I'm going to give you this job, or, you can come back and you can take food if you need, or I'm going to give you a room and I won't charge you a deposit because I can relate with what you've been through. And later it was with friends that I made, people that I work with, and people who genuinely believe in you. And then you realize that, speaking about the person who was my friend and kicked me out and all that stuff, years later I actually met the person again, and this person came and said, will you forgive me for what I've done? and and the reason why I was like this, it was because something similar was done to me, and I thought I had the right. And then from that moment I realized that this is a cycle that needs to, it needs to be broken. I will never, no matter how hard my life is, my experiences, or the trauma that I suffered before, I will never do the same thing. And all of this comes because people are kind. So I will always choose kindness above anything else. So for me, my friends showed me something, but everybody else showed me something different. They helped me to become who I am now, but also not being afraid to ask for help, which is hard. And you, as an entrepreneur, you know how hard it is for us to ask for help. Oh my God, can you help me out with this? Because I don't understand how this program works. Or sometimes I have this idea for an app. Will you help me out because I need an investment or something? Oh my God, your friends, your family, if they are willing to jump in and help you out, fantastic. But yeah, I think this is one of the most important lessons. Do not be afraid to ask for help.
I I honestly think that is such a beautiful thought, Maria. And as you said, I actually do want to kind of pivot a bit and tell you guys a short story about Maria. So, talking about help and being kind, and as an entrepreneur, I definitely struggle with this. I definitely struggle to ask for help. And I had just started my tribe. This was a couple of months ago. I had just started the Insta Savvy tribe. And I was trying to shift from a closed membership, which means it's only open 4 times a year, to an open membership, which means it's open all year round. And Maria was a founding member of my tribe. And Maria, I can't tell you how much I literally overthunk, I guess, the whole thing of just asking you for help. Like I literally, overthought and overthought and overthought. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should just reach out to her. And then Maria actually asked me, she's like, well, if you ever want help, just ask. I'm free. We can talk for about half an hour. And then it hit me. That's when it hit me, okay, it's okay for me to ask for help. And then I did. And then Maria and I think we spent a good 1.5 hours talking about the tribe. And then I pivoted it. And it was just amazing. It was so, so amazing. So I just wanted to tell you guys that, whatever Maria is telling you right now, she absolutely lives by it. And as an entrepreneur, yes, definitely we overthink that so much. We kind of hesitate to ask for help. But the reality is that you need help to get to where you want to be, to even take the next step. You do need that help, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to acknowledge that you're not going to do this alone.
Yeah, I think it's because there is this almost like this idea of the self-made business person who created their business out of nothing. But and that is correct, because most of us, we don't come from, big money. Our families, we don't come from that, or we don't come from a high standard university who will, push us or anything like that. But even when you look at the self-made people, there's always help anyway. It's either because, that person started baking cookies in their kitchen with their mom. It's something that they had help, or they still learn from somewhere. So it's the idea of the self-made doesn't mean that you don't ask people to help you out. And sometimes help comes in many different ways. It comes in mental health support. It comes from, sharing resources. It comes from so many different, just by the fact that people are there for you. That's help. Or to listen to your business idea, or to test your product. Hey, would you like to, you know, use my soaps and tell me how it is? That is helping. Not, sometimes people think about the big gestures and they forget about the little ones, the phone call, the sessions. And this is why I really don't mind when people are like, oh my God, would you help me with this? Yes, of course I will, you know. So yeah, that's important.
Yes, absolutely. I really think that there is a lot of misconception when it comes to help. I think that people think, oh, it's only the big grand gestures, and they feel hesitant to even ask for help. But as you said, rightfully said, that even support, even just having someone to listen to your thoughts or listen to you rant about how frustrated you are or how anxious you are about this journey, all of that is help. And there is absolutely nothing wrong to seek help when you need it. And I think that the first step to take is to recognize that it's okay, that you need help in this aspect, and then to reach out to people. So, Maria, that is such a beautiful thought. I really think that, we've touched a beautiful subject that, a lot of people, me in particular as well, hesitate to ask for help because, as you again rightfully said, the whole self-made person, business person, yes, it does get to you, but you have to understand that none of these people would be where they are without help along the way. So I guess it is not necessarily self-made, but at the same time, there's just a misconception with that word. So,
Yeah.
Maria, yes, absolutely. So, Maria, can you tell us a little bit about, how did you find your passion for writing? I mean, I know at one point you were pretty low, and then you kind of stepped up, you held on to your mindset, you fought back, you didn't give up. But at what point did you realize, okay, well, I have a passion for writing, I want to help other writers?
So I published my first graphic novel in, this was I think 2015. So I was already here for a couple of years, and this came because once again I wrote a short um, movie script back when I was still in Portugal, and I was working with a production company, and I was not even thinking of coming here, but at the time, after a while, they dropped me off. So I had this story and I had this script. And then I thought, oh, this would be cool as a comic book, right? This would be cool because it's super visual, and I don't think I have like my writing style may not be for like a novel. So maybe a comic would work. And that's exactly what I did. And I put an announcement in a Facebook group saying, hey, if there is any illustrator out there who would like to work with me, and at the time I said, well, I have no money. So the person who is going to come work with me is going to be 50-50. So whatever money we get, it's for both. And I was very lucky because I met Patrick, who is my illustrator on that project, who was still in university studying art. And he said, yeah, I would love to do that. And we did a comic of 45 pages in less than 3 months. We were picked by a publisher. We sent to many publishers. Many said no. One said yes. So yeah, that's all you need. All you need is one yes. That's all you need. And yeah, and we did that. I didn't even know how to write a script for a comic at that time. I was like, oh, and I wrote as like a movie script, like a crazy person. And once again, it's turning, a rejection into something else, you know. And yeah, you really need to pivot sometimes. And I realized that what I really love is to tell stories. That was the thing. I never thought myself as a writer. I used to write when I was younger, never thought I was going to do it professionally, but I do love to tell stories no matter what the medium was. And now it's like, oh, I don't think I could be anything else. And maybe that's why I love marketing in a way, because it sparkles my creativity so much. I can still use my storytelling in the marketing. I have to come up with plans and ways to make things work. And for me, maybe that's what really got me into the marketing, which was also something that, came out of nowhere. I quit my retail job last year. I had, once again, I was in a position where I had no plan, no nothing. But the difference was I wasn't alone anymore. So when I quit my retail job, I was like, you know what? I was already already been where I had nothing. So this will not scare me. Already been there, but this time I had a group of friends and I had support. And I told them I'm gonna quit this job with no plan. And they were like, Maria, you are not happy there, and you have my full support. So once again, help can be a very, small gesture. And that's what I did. And a week later, I was called and I say, hey, we need somebody to help us out with our social media. You do that already. Do you want to do that in our company? Hell yes. Hell yes. I knew so little at the time. I knew so little. I knew a little bit from watching YouTube videos, and all of a sudden, I was doing this as my job. And for over a year, all I did was learning, learning, learning. So yeah, just yeah, don't be afraid to sometimes, you jump into a job and you're like, oh my God, yeah, you just learn. There's so much resources online. Get into those YouTube videos. Now with the pandemic, there's so many courses available online. Jump on that, and yeah, and do the best that you can.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely wanted to touch upon that as well. Kind of how, starting from zero, it's okay to be at zero, especially when you started with your marketing job. You said that, you had absolutely no idea what marketing was all about. And then you spent a year working. And, guys, I know you're listening, and Maria and I have talked about this like multiple times before. And I am in such awe of how much work she's actually put in the last year to become a fully, a full-fledged social media coach and marketer, guys. She's working as a, a top-notch marketer at this company as well. And, when she told me how she's been investing in herself over the past 1 year, with respect to growing her skills, it just blew my mind, guys. And I really wanted to kind of take this episode to talk about that as well, Maria. So how did you feel, entering a field where, you felt that you were probably not as good as the more experienced marketers? How did you take that feeling and then convert it into something so positive, that drive to keep learning and to keep being better at it?
Once again, I was so lucky because I'm working in a company that, you know they really give me the space to learn. And I also had this thing of not being afraid to say, like, oh, I can you explain that, because I don't know what xyz means. I remember being in the first company meetings and they were talking about B2B and B2C, and I would be like, okay, sorry, sorry, can you explain that to me, please? And not feel ashamed that, actually I don't know so much about this business slang. But for over a year, and I've only so I started BGA in August. So it's even like halfway through the year when I really started. So the more you go into it, the more you're going to learn, and not being afraid to ask questions. Oh, actually, I did not understood that, or I don't know what that means. Would you mind explaining that to me? And because that is okay, because I I work in such a safe space where, I'm allowed to, ask these questions. So yeah, I think that is very important, to realize that I'm still learning, but hey, I'll get there. But I guess this is a great opportunity to also let everybody know, like, now they gave me a sort of a promotion, so I'm not just their social media anymore. Now I'm actually their marketing manager now, because they realize that I do so much more than just social media marketing. And I am so happy because, they're really putting their faith in my work and what I bring, and that is just amazing.
I think they're putting faith also in your drive and the passion that you have to just keep improving regardless of where you are at. And I think that's one thing that I have admired about Maria in the time that I have known her as well. She's always learning. And yes, absolutely. I think you brought a very important point up here, and that is to say, I mean, it's okay that you don't know something. I feel like everybody thinks, okay, I'm an expert, so I have to know everything. It's not always that way. It's okay that you don't know something. It's okay to say that you don't know something. You don't always have to have all the answers. And when once you ask and get the answer, then it just makes your life so much easier. So I really appreciated that you brought that up, Maria. And kind of like a fun question, if you were to look back at yourself when you first started out, when you were just in London, right from Portugal, what would be three advice or three tips that you would give your younger self?
From the moment I arrived, I guess I would say to myself, be strong because better days are coming. And sometimes you will trust the wrong people, but sometimes you will also trust the best people, and that's worth the risk. So take the risk, because yeah, some people are not going to be worth it, but others will. And that's what matters. Third, oh, have fun. Have more fun. Yeah, because I know I can get so much into the workspace that I do forget to have fun. So yeah, I guess those were my three ones.
Oh, that's actually super cute. Honestly, I think that whoever's listening to this, if you are at the beginning stages of everything, you're feeling daunted, you are at step zero. Don't worry. We've all been there. It takes is just looking at the next step and moving forward to the next step. That's it. Don't have to think about the end of the staircase. It's just taking things slowly, taking things one step at a time, and this is part of the journey. I don't Did you ever imagine back then that you would be this successful?
Not in a million. Not in a million. And also it's important to give yourself that time. So this did not happen to me overnight. I was stuck in a retail job for a very long time, and I've been in London for almost 9 years. So it took a long time. And for the time that I was in retail, I was not writing. I was not even looking for another job. I thought oh well, this is all I can be because I don't have a degree in anything. I've never been to university, and maybe this is all I can do. And at the end of the day, that was not true, until I realized that, well, I have to, leave and realize that there are so many other opportunities open for you. And yeah, you can definitely start from nothing. Just give yourself that time, because it does not happen overnight. This did not happen overnight for me. And just give yourself that time.
This is definitely one of my most inspiring episodes, definitely in the top 10. I'm definitely going to say this because I can feel how your journey has been so far. And I personally have seen you at least for the last 6 months or so, I guess I would say. And I have, seen how dedicated you are, how passionate you are about what you do, and how you just have this drive to keep learning. So for me to hear your story and for me to allow my listeners that opportunity as well is, very inspiring for me, and definitely makes me so happy. For those of you who are listening to this podcast episode, we have Maria with us, who's looking super cute in a Disney jumper. She did tell me before this podcast episode started that I think you are showing it off for the first time.
Isn't it nice? Oh, I'm such a Disney fan.
I think it looks adorable. Now, for those of you listening on the podcast, the video version of this podcast episode will be live on YouTube. So don't forget to catch that as well. And that actually kind of wraps up the entire episode. Maria, do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share with my audience?
Last thoughts. Oh my God, we covered like so much today, but yeah, I think like if people are really going through a rough patch, it won't be like this forever. And in a way, looking back for what happened, now I think nothing kind of scares me. Starting from zero, there are other things, but starting from zero now does not scare me. So don't feel scared, because you will get better. And yeah, just remember to, you need to persevere. Keep knocking on those doors.
Wonderful, Maria. Thank you so much for coming on the Marketing Nomad Show. I absolutely loved this episode. For all of you who are listening up until here, thank you so much for tuning in. Both Maria and I are super excited to when this goes live, definitely. We've been quite excited about this podcast for a very long time, guys. This, I think, was scheduled in December, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And we're recording it in February, mid of February, guys. So we've been excited about this podcast episode for a very long time. All right, guys, that actually wraps up the entire episode. I hope you guys got a ton of tips. If you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling that, you are at step 0, you're feeling so daunted about your next steps, well, there's always one person that you can definitely look up to, and that is Maria. Maria, if my podcast listeners want to reach out to you or, find you on social media or your website, how can they find you?
I'm on Instagram, MJ Lima, easy to find, or you can find on my website, mariajlima.com. So yeah, very easy.
Perfect. I'm also going to put those links in the description box, guys. So don't forget to check out Maria's, Instagram page and her website as well. She does give marketing tips for writers and also social media tips, if I'm not wrong, Maria.
Social media tips for everybody.
Perfect, guys. So if you guys are, looking for social media tips, or you just want to get in touch with Maria, because guys, she's super cool. Don't forget to reach out to her on Instagram or, on her website as well. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you guys in my next episode. Bye, guys.